Tuesday, everyone. Dr. Jason Dean, Brave TV, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. And let me jump right over to my good buddy. I even made a new slide, a new background slide for him today. It is Chris Heaven, Survival Dispatch, survivaldispatch.com. What's up, my man?
How you doing, Jason?
Living the, you know what I'm doing? I'm working to deal with I'm going to give you rough numbers here. Okay. This is rough. And there's obviously outliers, but the general population of the 15-year-olds to about 35-year-olds. I'm working on how to keep my sanity amongst them. I've never, I don't know. You know this because this is how you grew up too, but I've never, I don't know, work ethic was built, mindset was built, go through barriers, life isn't easy. You're not always going to get paid what you want to get paid. You just got to keep going and, working on and there's a couple generations or a generation in the middle that just got lost somewhere. I don't know what happened.
Participation trophies. That's what happened.
My God. It's unreal.
Never being failed, always being told that their feelings matter more than facts. Everybody's equal. The confusion of equality of opportunity and equality of outcome are not the same thing, but we've taught an entire generation that they are. And that's where the entitledness comes from.
It's true. It's true. And it's so funny. I mean, you probably had crazy stories of this as well, but man, I had probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years of making no money whatsoever, just surviving. I look back and I'm like, how the hell did I get through that period of life? How did I make it? There was some stupid decisions over here, but then it all brings you back to this spot. And this population, they don't survive, which is kind of scary.
Very true.
Do you have a lot of, you have a lot of employees and people that work with you guys, but you guys don't have necessarily that world doesn't really understand the survival world probably.
Yeah. Our senior editor, Grace McCutcheon, she's in her early 20s, but she is wicked smart.
She's on it.
She's right from the beginning raised as a homesteader by her parents.
Oh, well, there you go.
Way above average knowledge, way above average work ethic. She is absolutely one of the outliers.
Nice. Good. I love it. Man, so Saturday night came along. I was surprised that they started a war on Saturday night. I was waiting for Sunday. I waited for a Sunday or going into Monday, but I was surprised they started it. And the first thing, I think you even texted me, you're like, there's the drones. I told you.
Actually, the very first thing was the Iranians took down the power grid in Tel Aviv. Then they launched the first wave, which was approximately 100 drones, as we predicted.
Now, you might have different info. I don't know. I saw that they were getting just blown out of the sky. Is that true, or I mean, for the most part, it looks like everything was held off because the Iron Dome is so quote unquote impressive. But do you have any information on that?
Yeah, not everything, but there's some confusion over the numbers. Some people, some outlets who are providing numbers, when you add up drones, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and rockets, one news source is going to say 500 combined total. Others are saying 1,000 combined total. The highest number that I've seen as far as what got through the Iron Dome was 7 ballistic missiles.
It got through.
Yep. Now, the Iranians, of course, are telling their citizens that it was an overwhelming success and that they inflicted major damage on Israel, which is not the case. But there's so much on this, right? So a lot of the munitions that were lobbed towards Israel were older generation Scuds.
Okay.
And so it wasn't super sophisticated high-tech stuff. But what it did do is it gave the Iranians intelligence on the Iron Dome that they've never had before, which, by the way, this is the largest ever drone attack on a country, as well as the most number of ICBMs that have ever been lobbed at a country, live ICBMs. So the Iranians gained knowledge, number one, from the whole thing. Number two, they didn't spend a whole lot of money. A lot of the stuff that they sent were antiquated weapons, but they also started the depletion process of the Iron Dome. So nobody knows what they have, for stockpiles on the Israeli side, but it's possible that the Iranians could keep and Israelis keep going back and forth, tit for tat, without drawing in third parties. Well, depending on the frequency of that, you could end up in a situation where the Israeli, stockpiles become so depleted that that's when Iran lobs their more modern stuff in that direction.
Makes sense. I am looking for, I'm not finding it at the moment, but there was also rumors of last night on X from decent sources that we are about ready to pass a fast bill of $95 billion to send over there as well.
Yeah, I caught that. That's we need to throw Congress out, every last one of them. I'm serious. This latest debacle over FISA is I wrote to our rep here in Volusia Flagler, and this guy that we had, Michael Waltz is his name. He's a military veteran, always been perceived to be a pretty decent guy. He's one of the clowns in Washington who voted against requiring warrants for the FBI to spy on citizens, but you have to have a warrant if you're going to spy on any member of Congress. It's so, lopsided.
It's shocking. A warrant? Oh, really? A warrant? That's how the... I'm joking.
Last year alone, 278,000 violations of the FISA Act, where they just do whatever the heck they want. This is brutal, man. Our government doesn't exist. It's a bunch of garbage imposters.
And FISA is how they take down Trump, because
correct.
That's for anybody who doesn't know, that's the tapping. That's what Obama, deep state, cabal, whatever you want to call them, that's what they used.
That's right.
To basically wiretap him. And I don't think he was tapped just in the White House. I think he was tapped. I don't think he was tapped in the campaign. I think he was tapped before the campaign started. I think they knew that potentially he was thinking about to run. I mean, there's interviews of him back in his 30s, right? And there's also FBI documentation that Trump was giving information to the FBI way back. I have a feeling they set this up a long time ago, Chris. Like they were watching, and they probably do that to other campaign or people who are going to run too, just to be safe that they're not going to get in.
Yeah, our government is nothing what the founders envisioned at all.
Not at all.
My wife's had a store on eBay for 21 years, just selling odds and ends that we're getting rid of, those sort of things. So you earn money, you pay income tax on it, you buy crap and pay sales tax on it. You sell it on eBay, you pay income tax on that because they insist on sending you a 1099 now. Then you take that money and you go buy more goods that you pay taxes on again. Absolute bullshit. Like absolute bullshit. So you can only push people so far before they push back. I'm just waiting to see how far the masses will actually let this go. There's already people all over X saying that if the Democrats and Obama and Biden steal this election, that there's going to be blood. Now, we don't promote violence. We have never promoted violence in any capacity whatsoever. I'm strictly commenting on other people's opinions and the breaking point that they're being pushed to. And the system's incredibly fragile. Joe Biden and his bullshit F-15, F-16 speech would try and convince you otherwise. But 3% of the population, 12 million people, give or take, 3%, by the way, the Tea Party, the whole system would implode and collapse. I actually agree with Klaus Schwab and the WEF. We need a great reset. We need to wipe out every law, rule, and regulation, go back to the 10 Commandments, call it a day.
I've been saying for like the last year behind the scenes, mostly behind the scenes, because like gotta be careful what I say publicly. But now that you've done it, I told people, I tell my team, I'm like, you know what? Just do it. Like this, like I understand that there's some bad guys out there. This, you have to just implode this whole thing. We need a reset at this point. And you know what?
Yeah.
I would rather face the enemies that I can see coming at me that are claiming they want to do a certain way. That's a lot easier than battling this thing that you can't. The octopus or whatever the hell you call it, the tentacles are so deep, so far. Like we don't even know where they are. There's there's tentacles that we still don't know where they are. What, like, just explode it. Like the money's trash. Like it's gone. I mean, I can't believe Americans are still like putting up with what they put up with. It's shocking to me. It's stunning.
The whole system's an abomination. There's no other way to describe it.
There's I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's a girl. I have the video somewhere, not to pull it up right now, but there's a girl. She probably looked like she was in her mid-20s, and it was like a TikTok video, and it only went on for like a minute maybe. And the girl was like, she was just becoming aware of like the Federal Reserve and how the money works, and she's like, wait, I make 100, I get taxed on that, then I go spend money that gets taxed. Then I give somebody else money for a product. They get it. They're taxed. And she was going through the layers of taxation. And her mind was starting to, like, you could see blow. And then she stopped the video and said something like, well, I must be stupid or something like that. And everyone's like, no, you're not dumb. You're getting it. But they've made it so complicated that it makes people not look at it because it just seems, it seems like we're wrong, right? Like, oh, I must not do math well. No, that's what they've developed. This is what they've designed.
Yeah. I mean, my personal opinion is consumption-based tax, nothing else. That's it. So, anything that you're consuming, you pay a tax on it. Like, I'm okay with paying tax on fuel, for example. If you're putting miles on the roads need to be fixed.
Yep.
Okay.
How do you feel about how do you feel about basics like food and stuff like that? What are your thoughts there?
I don't think there should be any taxes on foods because
I agree.
Food, shelter, those
stuff
sorts
you
of
have
basics,
to have to be comfortable and safe.
Yeah, take the stuff that they've pulled out of the core inflation rate, which is all smoke and mirrors, right? So essentially, food, fuel, and housing costs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I from the
which
beginning
I just
of
contradicted myself on fuel because I don't think you should take that out, but food and housing for sure.
No, I mean I've said from the beginning. I mean, I'm pretty much a capitalist at heart, but I don't really think any child should go without food. I think that's insane. I don't even think an adult should go without food. We freaking feed people in jail. How is a child starving? That's insane.
Right.
Like completely lunacy. 3 hours ago, Speaker Johnson, who is atrocious, we will follow the Germany's rules of law, House, of course, and the regular rules. He intends to allow members to read the text of the legislation for 72 hours before bringing the bills to the floor. If the text is released Tuesday, as he hopes, that could mean the House might not vote on the 4 separate bills until Friday. The House is currently scheduled to leave Thursday afternoon. So they are attempting to get the $95 billion through probably before the end of the week, as of right now.
Yeah.
Wait. What's going to happen when... So BRICS is roughly about 40% of the world's economy right now, and it has all the major superpowers in it, including the Middle East, who's oil rich, right? When we spend more money, how fast are they going to de-dollarize this? Once they make that decision, this thing goes out of control.
It's only 2-3 weeks ago, there were a bunch of government bonds offered. Nobody bought them. They
don't want them. Everyone's tired of the American game, or I shouldn't say American game. The cabal game is really what it is.
Yeah. That's accurate.
So you recently did a video on what you guys are learning from. You guys got a lot of people in there on the attack and everything, and you guys are putting that out tomorrow.
Yeah, we do a live episode every Monday, so we touched on it yesterday. If you pull up yesterday's video, actually, I don't know if you noticed this, but there's a triangle that was in the sky over Tel Aviv.
Yes, you sent that to me. I got to still send you the information.
Yeah, so it's not Project Bluebeam, but it's there's a bunch of rumored Raytheon products that mimic that, and it's some sort of energy directed weapon, but it's something that nobody's ever seen before. But you can actually see the triangle pulse and gain energy before it releases it, and fires it in the direction of um, the missiles that are coming in. Which
Interesting.
which which site are you on there?
I'm on the YouTube. Do you want me to go to the website?
Click on live. It was a live one yesterday.
Oh, there you
There
go.
you go. So see that. Uh, I would zoom in because if you click it, it's going to play the video. Um, but that's basically where that question mark is pointing at the triangle above
Yep.
it. When you watch the video, like I say, it's like it generates a bunch of energy. The glow gets really strong, and then it dissipates just as a ballistic missile gets zapped out of the sky. And you can kind of see how it's tracking, like a ballistic missile's coming in. And if there's multiple ones, it may get past that triangle and it'll zap it in that direction. But the next one that comes in, if it's had time to charge up, it's hitting it this way. It's some sort of energy directed weapon. But it's something that nobody's ever seen. I mean, we've run this by multiple guys, right?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel Doc Pete Chambers, Sergeant First Class Mike Sterling, Sergeant First Class Randy Nance, Chief Warrant Officer Don Mann, Chief Warrant Officer Jeff Nicholas, which is the guy that Black Hawk Down the movie's based on. We put it in front of all these guys and said, "What is this?" And everybody said had the same answer: something that we have never seen before, but closely mimics stuff that Raytheon is supposedly working on. Now, the Navy has some energy directed weapons, but it consumes the entire space of a destroyer to send energy about a mile away, and that's it. So essentially a laser, whether it's visible or not. But that triangle deal is something completely new.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's
It pulses
the
and then
pulse of
bam,
glow.
it pulls those ballistic missiles down. See it pulse, and there goes the blast.
Huh.
So I picked up on it on Saturday night and started sending the video to our team saying, "What's everybody's opinion of this?" And the closest thing was, let me see here. Give me 2 seconds to pull it up. Raytheon.
Do you know, speaking of Raytheon and this, I know he's popping up again. I saw him a while ago. What the hell is his name? He has deciphering.tv. Oh,
Raytheon TR-3B anti gravity spacecraft.
yes.
That's
Uh,
that's the best guess of what that is. Because here's the thing: if it was like the energy directed weapons that our Navy's using,
yep.
they're too big to make them airborne.
Right. Do
Imagine
you know,
taking a destroyer and making it airborne.
do you know the name Eric Hecker?
I do not.
I'll send him over to you. He was Raytheon. He was in Antarctica, which I'm talking about Antarctica. I've been studying Antarctica for a while. There's shit down underneath Antarctica that we are not supposed to know about, and it's not just military stuff. It's stuff that they have found, which is insane. I'll send you some videos. But he's also part of the Stargate project, and he's now speaking out because one, they have technology and weapons. I don't remember if he claims this, but that is far beyond anything we could possibly know about. However, also they can send frequencies out that will start earthquakes pretty much anywhere they want to if they wanted to.
Nothing would surprise me anymore.
But it's Eric Hecker. I'll send the links over. He's easy to find now, and he's been doing some high level interviews with some people on different podcasts. And again, he's a contractor, but he technically works for the government. So it's not that I take him at full face value, because I'm sure like they're good at lying a little bit. But I also do know I've kind of cross-referenced some of the stuff he's talking about to what I've read, even some crazy conspiracy shit. And he's not wrong necessarily. He's definitely telling a lot of the truth. the crazy part about this is Americans would crap themselves if they fully found out really what is going on kind of underground in other places, because it's far deeper. I was talking to someone last night and I'm like, this is more sci-fi than you want to believe, and a lot of people would be shocked by this because it'll change your whole worldview of existence at this point. It's gonna get crazy, man.
Yeah, we've spoke to multiple military pilots, including Jeff Nicholas, who I just mentioned that the movie Black Hawk Down is based on. And Jeff included, these guys have all seen different objects in the air doing things that no man-made vehicle
Right.
could do, and backed up by other people who saw the same stuff that they saw. And so, and of course, we've got the government now saying, well, yes, we have seen these things over the years. And it makes me wonder why they're saying that, because I mean, it's the truth, but what are they trying to divert our attention away from, or what are they trying to set people's expectations for those sort of things? I don't know. But uh, to think that we're the only ones in the entire universe would be foolish. And I mean,
He openly talks about stargates, man. He's like, there's stargates all over the world. What are the stargates for? Things come through portals. It's that simple. The problem is Americans we're so uneducated, for lack of a better word.
well, our education system's gone to hell in a handbasket. I mean, the literacy rates have dropped like a stone. The basics like math have dropped like a stone. We've gone from having one of the best public educational systems in the world to one of the worst. It's absolutely abhorrent, because we're going to teach people, we're going to teach kids on how to screw up simple things like which bathroom to use. But, we
Dude,
can't teach the basics.
I was watching a video the other day that somehow I stumbled on, like, heavy machinery, and there was like this giant cat vehicle, like giant. I mean, we're talking like you stand next to it and it just dwarfs a human, right? And they're like, hey, guess what? They make this shit that goes out and builds giant things, and we still even with equipment like this and the technology we have, we still can't figure out how the pyramids were built.
Right.
So take that for like it's like, it's insane. Yeah, it's just people, like, we've been dumbed down to a level that is unreal. But yeah, no, it's a lot of distractions out there. I'm glad you did that video on the triangular shaped object, because it's also, I've learned it's fun to talk about conspiracy stuff, but it's also really, really intelligent. There's so much bullshit out there to break down what things really are, so that it doesn't get out of control and just like random crap. Like, I don't want to say misinformation, but even in our world, there's so much BS. Like, I see TikTok videos all the time on X. They're like, did you see this? This is what this, and like, that has nothing to do with what that is.
Right. Yeah. No, there's just a ton of garbage content and stuff out there. That's for sure. I mean, we get bombarded with these paid shills. Disinformation is essentially what their title is. Disinformation. Not bots, because they're not robots, but they're humans that are paid. Just like the Soros paid protesters, there's people that are paid to go and comment on videos that go against the narrative, and try to sow discord and discredit people. We see them all the time. Like, some clown went on our YouTube this morning and said that what's with you conservatives, and all of your crazy conspiracy theories? You get your rocks off of this. And the title was for tomorrow's video, the one we're recording today, on lessons learned from the Iranian attack on Israel. So this shit for brains think that there's nothing to learn as far as Iran, attacking Israel. And there's a ton. We've pulled a lot of intel out of it. And that's the video we're recording this afternoon, airing tomorrow, with probably the most esteemed military panel on these types of subjects ever, the group that we've assembled today. And there's a ton to learn. So then the guy, started taking pot shots at us and stuff like that. So I went and clicked through to his YouTube channel. He is the fucking epitome of a low testosterone soy boy. Like so I replied back to him on that. I mean, this guy doesn't have a lick of testosterone in his system, but he clearly is one of these, disinformation people that's being paid to go and sow discord on conservative stuff. I'll tell you what, something has happened in the past month at YouTube. Everybody I know, including us, is getting demonetized across the board.
Yep. I have a friend in the conservative world. He's just a regular podcaster. He's not polarizing, but he leans more on conservative side. And I told him he's like using YouTube. I go, dude, I wouldn't do it. Like I wouldn't, if you're starting there, I wouldn't start there. Like if you already have a channel, yeah, push. But like I go, you're not gonna gain anything. You're better off building your own site and pushing people through it, or making communities. That's where people are going. Like I'm actually right now. We're building a community section, several community sections for people who, one, either do our products, but two, people who are in memberships and things like that, so that they can download a legitimate app. It's a third party still, but they're not monitoring all that stuff because it's not social media. Push them into the community so they can go there and easily chat and talk and say things and whatever, because I really think the future, social media will be a thing, but it's not going to be where real information always is. You're going to have to go into your communities and other sites to be with people that are like-minded and actually learn stuff, like a survivaldispatch.com. People are going to have to go to those places. And guess what? You're going to have to take responsibility. You're going to have to pay out of your pocket to learn things. You're going to have to pay out of your pocket to become knowledgeable. And that's how it always was intended. This whole like free is fine, but you're only going to get base level stuff at free. You have to invest in things to make yourself better.
Yeah, well, the problem is, though, is that for several generations now, we've taught people to memorize and regurgitate bullshit.
Yep.
And not give them any problem solving skills. And the measure of a person's intelligence is not the sum total of their knowledge. It's the ability to find the truthful answers to their questions. And, we're sorely lacking in that department. Again, we're back to the educational system here. But at this particular point in time, Elon Musk and X, regardless what people think of him, has done more for free speech than anybody else other than Todd Callender and CloudHub. Todd's platform doesn't censor anything unless it's illegal, like pedophilia and garbage like that. Whereas X is a million times better than it was, but there's still legacy code in there, and there's still some, crappy X employees working in the background trying to lessen conservative voices, those sort of things. But I give Elon Musk kudos for what he's done. He has done a lot.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Survivaldispatch.com. Thanks as always, buddy. I appreciate you being on.
Likewise. Appreciate it.
Go check out survivaldispatch.com. Chris Heaven, phenomenal site, educating all day long, every single day, and a great patriot. Have a good Tuesday, man. Be well.